Many Republicans want to hamstring the EPA's authority to regulate other pollution. Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle explains.
Republicans are unveiling draft legislation today to prevent the Environmental Protection Agency from using the Clean Air Act to do by regulation what Congress refused to do in legislation.
We don't want to see a backdoor attempt at a cap-and-trade system in our country. There's nothing more than a national energy tax on the American people.
President Obama and Democrats failed to pass a cap-and-trade bill, an attempt to drastically reduce carbon emissions by taxing them. The draft legislation would prevent the EPA from using the Clean Air Act to regulate carbon emissions from coal, oil, or even natural gas, and is called the Energy Tax Prevention Act.
The Environmental Protection Agency seems to want to control all of our lives in so many ways, and this is putting huge burdens on our taxpayers and huge burdens on our businesses.
Senator James Inhofe, a sponsor in the Senate, pointed to what he called a scandal over the science on greenhouse gases when critics found mistakes in the international research. Inhofe quotes an environmental writer who blasted the scientists.
Their willingness to go to any length to defend a preconceived message is surprising even to me. The stink of intellectual corruption is overpowering.
But EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson said it had no impact.
The data and the questions about the data and that scientific judgment did not change the basic science that man-made emissions are changing our climate, changing our atmosphere, degrading it to the point that it is impacting our planet.
But Republicans want Congress, not federal bureaucrats, to weigh the costs versus benefits of any action because of the burden on taxpayers.
About $3,100 more per household. It's going to affect not only office buildings and factories, but tens of thousands of churches and farms will be affected by this.
This bill is likely to pass the Republican-controlled House, but what about the Senate?
23 Democrats running for the Senate next time, 10 of them in states that John McCain carried. I think they're going to be very focused on unemployment in their states and realize that the regulations coming out of Washington are crushing jobs in their own states.
Administration officials have said the president would veto anything that limits EPA greenhouse gas authority, so if it passed the Senate, he'd be forced to repudiate any Democrats who voted for it.